I had a really similar experience with my second. It was really related to sleep, and I had a lot of checking behavior, to be like, "You're breathing, right? Okay. Oh,
Mhm.
wait, just let me check again." And I intrusive thoughts are I think this is the same for you, one of the biggest things that
Mhm.
people, come to get support around, and what I see often is that parents are so horrified by the thought,
Right.
of, like, what kind of parent thinks these thoughts? Does this mean that I want this to happen? Is this my subconscious? Oh, my, am I going to manifest this? Like, there's such a fear response. Um, and to clarify for those who the idea of intrusive thoughts is kind of new to, they're often
Mhm.
these really scary, frightening, sudden thoughts that come out of nowhere. They are really common perinatally, and I'll talk about a theory about why that is in a second. And some of the more common ones, not that I want to give scary images, but they come up a lot, are things like the baby stopping breathing in sleep,
Mhm.
falling down stairs is another really big one. Slipping in the bath is another really big one. But sometimes they are uh, more difficult for parents to sit with in nature, that they are thoughts of like them harming their child. Sometimes they're quite gruesome. Sometimes they can be sexual in nature. And so it can be really terrifying for parents to be honest about the thoughts they're having, because they don't want people to think that that is something that could be true about them, or they don't want that to be something that could be true
Mhm.
about them to think about themselves. So even though intrusive thoughts have such a broad range, I will do a lot, and I'm sure you do too, of separating that, like, the thought is the thought. The thought does not represent who you are as a parent or what you want to happen as a parent at all. And I really like this theory. I wish I could quote where this theory came from. I think I heard it once at a conference and then immediately forgot who was theorizing about this. So if that's you and you're listening, like, please let me know. Um, But it was this idea that every time we are learning something that is new and risky, um, we have to retrain the part of our brain that is assessing risk to
Mm.
know that something feels safe. And so once that risky thing that we're doing starts to feel safe, we get to sort of put it into our procedural memory. And so the things that we do all the time that are pretty risky, like, I mean, depending on life and ability, going up and down the stairs,
Right.
driving a car, showering, chopping vegetables with a sharp knife. Like, those things are risky. And when we first learn how to do them, we are so careful about them. We like go up and down the stairs with like an adult. We scoot down on our bums. We get those like learning knives that can't hurt us. And then over time, as we become more proficient, we get less scared and we don't think often about how risky that stuff is. But then when you have a baby, that part of us that's doing risk assessment is like, whoa, hold on. I actually, we have to keep this baby safe now too. And for some people, that can present in these like really frightening thoughts of like, you get to the top of the stairs and you haven't thought about how safe it is to go up and down the stairs for years. But now you have this baby and you have this vision of falling down the stairs with the baby, which doesn't mean you will, or doesn't mean
Mhm.
that you want to, but it's adding that separation of, oh, the part of your brain that is asking you to assess risk is doing it in this like mean way or this hard way.
Yeah.
But really, the question is this safe to do? And so, like, you actually get to answer that. Like, yep, it's safe. Like, I'm going to like snuggle the baby in tight. I'm going to hold the railing. We'll go down slowly together, as a way to start and repattern into the procedural memory the things that uh, our brain is just like asking us about. That's the most obvious example. It can feel weirder when people are like, but I was chopping vegetables and then I had a really intrusive thought around that.
Right.
Um, and so, but the principle still applies, is like detach from the thought, not like, why did I have that thought? But just say, like, do your own risk assessment of like, yeah, this is perfectly safe. This is perfectly safe right now. I can see how far the baby is from over here.